friends, and welcome back. Today is the start of the Let's Get Graphic Readathon, hosted by Gwen Kinsinger and Keisha, and I forget the other one, forgive me. But they just posted about it on Instagram, and they made a post here on YouTube about it, and it's a 24-hour readathon. So I thought I would vlog it, and I thought I would first talk about the books that I'll be reading, the graphic novels. So the first ones are these Castle graphic novels. So these are based on the TV show Castle from several years ago now. He is chewing on something, the puppy. So if you hear that, I apologize. But in the show, he is a journalist who tags along with this police detective in New York City. And these are some of his previous books that are turned into graphic novels in the show. So they're very much based on that. So the first one is Richard Castle's Deadly Storm, a Derek Storm mystery. And I have read, I think the second or third one of these. I'll have to look it up on my Goodreads for sure. But I had been wanting these, and I accidentally ordered this. It's a paperback. I prefer them hardback, but I just read the description wrong. I ordered them off of eBay because they were cheaper that way. And I couldn't find them local to me. So, anyway, so that one is the first one. And then the next one is Richard Castle's A Calm Before the Storm, also a Derek Storm novel. And then Storm Season is the one I've read. I don't know if that's book 2 or book 3. I can't remember. But that's the one I already own. So I'm going to be reading these two for sure. I'm going to work on them today. And then I would like to read this if I have enough time. And I'm going to probably start it today. I didn't know that you could get an Agatha Christie as a graphic novel. How cool is that? I'm so excited. I love Agatha Christie anyway. All of the ones I've read, I've enjoyed all of them. So I'm excited about The Murder on the Orient Express, and I can't believe more people haven't talked about this. I'm over the moon excited about it. So hopefully I'll get to that one. This one is quite long. Those are quite short. This one is 276 pages, but I'm very excited. I will say their interpretation of Hector Poirot is not what I picture in my head, but I am still excited about it. So, I was covering up him, but I'm excited about it nonetheless. And then my dog is sitting on my Kindle. They're wild. They got a full night's sleep. And overlook how my rosacea is flared up. And I have a cold sore, so overlook that. And then, let's see, it's thinking. I for sure want to get to this one on my Kindle. It's called A Faithful Spy. I haven't read any of the graphic novels illustrated by this John Hendricks, but it's a true story. Dietrich Bonhoeffer and the Plot to Kill Hitler. This is what I'm counting for my middle grade, because it claims to be a middle grade, but it's a true story, so I'm very excited about that one. I've been wanting to read that one for a while. I think it was Amanda from the middle shelf and or Keisha that read that and really liked it. And then for flowers on the cover, which this one doesn't necessarily have flowers, but or maybe it just feels like spring. I can't remember. There's so many readathons, I'm getting the prompts confused. But for whichever one that one is, The Secret Garden is what I'm going to read for that one. Because this is technically foliage and not flowers. So if it's flowers, we're counting it anyway. Okay? So, and I've never actually read any version of The Secret Garden. I've watched the movie. But I didn't like to read as a kid. So I didn't read other than what they assigned me in school or stuff for the accelerated reader program. And that's it, because I didn't like to read when I was younger. I didn't fall in love with reading until I was in my mid-20s. So anyway, so we're going to vlog this. I'm going to get comfortable here and start vlogging. So I'll keep you posted as I finish. Technically, the readathon doesn't start till this evening, but I don't have any plans today, so I'm going to read a little bit, do some housework. I also have to pay bills online, so I'm going to do that stuff in between each read probably. And then tomorrow, it goes for 24 hours, but tomorrow our grandbaby's birthday is about an hour and a half away, so we're going to go to that. So I'm going to take my Kindle. So I'm going to read my physical ones today, and I'll take my Kindle tomorrow, because we have to make a couple of pit stops. So I don't know how much reading I'll be able to get done tomorrow, because I'll be in the car all day. But I'll be taking my Kindle and reading. I won't read at the party because that's rude. But I'll read in the car. So, and I should be able to at least get one of them read in the car tomorrow, and then I'll read more when I get home. So, so let's read. I think these are kind of niche, and they're kind of not for everybody. But if you're a fan of the Castle Show and you didn't know that you could get the graphic novels, and they also have the Nikki Heat books. If you've not read those and you're a Castle fan, they're good. The last one was a disappointment, but other than that, I enjoyed all of them. So, but I'm a huge fan of the Castle series, so we watched every single episode. So, and I actually have them on a DVD over there. So, anyway, so I'm gonna read this. Oh, the dogs, they're gonna come and go. So if you hear them occasionally when I'm talking or something, there's nothing I can do about it. The dog door is right there. So there's just nothing I can do about it. It's better than them sitting right here and chewing on things, right? Okay, the dogs are playing, so if you can hear them, sorry. So the book that I read earlier, pardon my clothes up there. So I finished Deadly Storm. I finished it earlier. This is the first book in the series. So then I decided to go get my hair cut. And I came home and washed it and get the itchy hairs off. But they were having a special, so I got it cut real cheap. So I went ahead and did that and then come back, took a bath. Now, this is the book I already owned and already had, and I have read it before, but it's book 2. So I'm going to read it again and refresh my memory. This is Storm Season. And then book 3, I will also read. This is A Calm Before the Storm. So these are the ones I plan on finishing tonight. And then hopefully on sprints, I can start. Sprints are at 8. So I got an hour and a half. So hopefully on sprints, I can start Murder on the Orient Express. So I'm really excited about that one. These ones are good too, but you really have to be a fan of the Castle series. I guess not. I mean, they're still, you know, but if you like detective story, CIA. Sorry, my dog has congestive heart failure, and she's on medicine, but when they play, she coughs a lot, so the doctor said she's normal. I just had a checkup on her the other day, so she's doing well. She just, I put in a clip of them playing. She's the Chihuahua Yorkie, and she's 13, or will be 13 at the end of the month. So she's getting old. But anyway, the doctor said that her lungs are actually sounding really good and clear, and her heart sounds good. So she's on medicine. As I said, she just gets a little coughy and wheezy when they play. And she still likes to play, so they do that. But anyway, so I wanted to show you the cover of this. I like the red on the red foil on the cover of the, that's on the hard backs. The paperback just has the picture cover. So I'm going to go ahead and read book 2 here and carry on. Printed in 2012. So earlier I said that I watched the Castle TV series many moons ago. So 2012 was when these were printed, and it was on air because my children were still at home, and me and my daughter used to watch it. So anyway, just so you know. Okay, the dogs are outside barking at something, so if you can hear them, I apologize. I just reread Storm Season, which is book 2. These are both good, by the way. I really enjoy these. They're 5 stars, easy for me. So on to this one I've not read. Again, the Storm Season was a reread. This one, A Calm Before a Storm. Calm Before Storm. I've never read this one, so anyway, so on to that one. And then live sprints, reading sprints are in about an hour. No, half an hour on Gwen's channel. So it says on this flap, it says Derek Storm was a reasonably successful, let me start over. Derek Storm was a reasonably successful private investigator who occasionally consulted with the CIA until, well, you'll see. So, and that's the inside art. So, okay, I finished book 3. It was great. 5 stars. These are just so fun, and I shouldn't say fun, because it's detective stories and, you know, murder and mayhem and that kind of stuff. But anyway, they're entertaining, so 5 stars. So now on to the next. Hold on, let me get it. Murder on the Orient Express, Agatha Christie, adapted and illustrated by Bob Al Green. So, we'll see if it's good. Still doing sprints. I think I've got about 10 minutes before they come back to update things. So, we're going to start this.
Summer! Hello. Wings of Starlight tonight. The chair is my favorite. Well, who's your favorite, Keisha?
I don't know. I mean, Chair's pretty funny. Okay. I haven't closed out this Let's Get Graphic reading vlog, so I thought I'd go ahead and do that. Let me bring up my TBR that I had. So the Let's Get Graphic Readathon was hosted by Gwen Kingsinger. And she just did it for 24 hours. It was actually Friday from 8 p.m. to Saturday to 8 p.m. But because we had stuff to do on Saturday, I decided that I would just continue until I finished most of what I wanted to read. So I had the 3 castle books, which you see me in the vlog. I didn't vlog on Saturday because we had our granddaughter's birthday party to attend, and so we were very busy with family stuff, and that was all day. So I just read in the car on my Kindle, and I read 2 graphic novels on my Kindle. So I wanted to go over what I read. So you see me vlog these, and hopefully they're not too shiny, but they're from the Castle TV show. He is an author in the TV show, and he writes mystery novels, and one of his main characters in some of his novels are Derek Storm, and these are graphic novels that are supposed to be like the ones he wrote. They're good if you like that kind of thing. If you like detective stories and private eye that's kind of over the top and outlandish, they're fun, they're a good time. I gave all of them 5 stars. This is the first one, Deadly Storm, Richard Castle's a Derek Storm mystery. This is the second one. I had already read this one, so this was a Storm season, but because I was wanting to read number 3, I went ahead and reread this one. I'm glad I did. Again, 5 stars. It was a fun time. And these are so short, I'm not going to go over all of them because it would literally give it away. They're less than 100 pages each. I think they're like 90 pages. You might also hear the puppies running in and out. There's nothing I can do about that. Okay, his page numbers are not numbered, but they're 100-ish pages, so I'm not going to spoil any of them. But he's a private detective in the first one, and he gets recruited by the CIA, and so the other 2 books kind of follow those cases. So this one is a Calm Before the Storm. It's a good time, 5 stars. I enjoyed all 3 of them. I read all 3 of them Friday night, and then I started this one, and I was really excited because I didn't know, and I think I showed it. I didn't know that they had made any kind of like, what's it called? Classic novels into graphic novels. And so when I seen this one, I wanted to read it. And it's Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. And it was fantastic. I think I also gave it 5 stars. It may have been 4 stars. I may have gave this one, no, I gave it 5 stars. And I gave The Secret Garden 4 stars. The only thing I didn't like about it is the person they wrote as, or drew as Hercule Poirot. That's not who I had pictured in my head, you know? Sorry. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. And I felt like they stuck fairly close to the original novel because it's adapted for this format, you know? And I felt like they stuck true to the story, and it was great because I have read Murder on the Orient Express, and I think I've only watched the Johnny Depp film. I know there's at least one other, maybe 2 other versions of it, but I've only watched the Johnny Depp one. But yeah, highly recommend that one. This one is nearly 300 pages. I highly recommend this. Let me throw their toy. If you like Agatha Christie and you really enjoy this story, obviously, if you've not read the actual book, I'd kind of suggest that first. This is good though, like it covers it. You just miss some of her classic wit. He's not as witty of a character in these books, in this graphic novel form, as he is in her actual novels, if that kind of makes sense. Because in the books, he's kind of, he's extremely intelligent and he knows it. And so he can be extremely witty and condescending. And people don't always realize that that's what he does to them, you know, when he's investigating or whatever. So you kind of miss out a little bit on that in these. But it's only this one. But it's still really good. I highly recommend it. I also, on my Kindle, I will put a picture here. I read first The Secret Garden. I read this Saturday. I have not read the actual novel, The Secret Garden. I've only ever watched the movie as a kid. I may have read the book. If I read the book, I don't remember it. It's been so long ago, but I did watch the movie as a child. This one, it was good, and I liked the artwork. It's just not like I'm never going to reread it, even as a graphic novel. I think somebody has it in like a book club coming up, so I might read the actual novel for that, but I'm not going to. I think it's middle grade March. They have it as their book club pick for middle grade March. So anyway, I liked the artwork. It was a good story. It was a quick read. I read it in an hour on the way to the party. And I think I remember this from the movie, that I didn't like the character that she befriends in The Secret Garden. He's a spoiled, rotten brat. And I know you're supposed to, like, I know that's the purpose of the story or whatever, like, but I don't know. Maybe the novel will be different. Maybe it'll change my mind, but I don't think so, because as I said, I watched the movie and read the graphic novel. And I enjoyed it, and I would recommend people reading it, but I'm never going to reread it, so that's why it's only a 4-star for me. I only give 5 stars to books that I will reread or would reread. I'm a big rereader, so the next one, also on my Kindle, and I just finished it yesterday. So yesterday was Monday the 10th. Today is Tuesday the 11th. And I also read it on my Kindle. I started it right after I finished The Secret Garden, but it's long, and there's a lot more words, a lot more actual reading in this one than I expected for it to be. But it's This Faithful Spy by John Hendricks. It's the story of, Dietrich, can't remember his last name. Bonhoeffer and the Plot to Kill Hitler. This is a nonfiction graphic novel. I didn't know that was a thing, but I actually really enjoyed reading a nonfiction in this format, even though the artwork and stuff is not exactly how I expected it to go. It was still really good, and I actually want to purchase that one and have a physical copy and reread it physically, because reading it, I have a Kindle Fire and they're small, so I have, this is the Bible on here, and I have it, I don't usually read it this large, but I zoomed in the text or made the font bigger, so I was hoping that the font on the graphic novel would be larger, but it wasn't. So, and anyway, so it's little. I'll show you compared to this Murder on the Orient Express book. So it was tiny on here, and so I'd rather have the full-size graphic novel and have a slightly better, I highly recommend it in physical form. So, but it was good, 5 stars. I will reread it, and I highly recommend it. It's a Christian, it's exactly what it says. He is a Christian theologian, and he doesn't like what Hitler does, and I actually learned things in this book. I'm not a huge history buff because I can't remember dates and things. I wish I could. It drives me crazy that I can't. But in all the studying and reading that I've done, which granted is not a ton, and even movies that I've watched, I didn't realize that part of Hitler's thing was he created his own version of the church. You always hear that he was Catholic or whatever, but it turns out he changed that when he took power, and he basically made himself as God. And this Christian theologian, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, he took great offense to that and to all the atrocities that Hitler was doing. So he and a group of like-minded persons tried to have him assassinated. And so it was really, really good. They spy against him. I cried in that book, actually, in that graphic novel. So that's it. So that was the Let's Get Graphic Readathon. I hope it wasn't too boring for you. I hope you guys found it helpful and useful. And I think this is the first year that I did it. I know that last year, I remember she also led one. I think she's done it several years now, but I didn't get to participate last year. I forget why. But I did this year, and I plan to in the future, and I plan to acquire more graphic novels. Anyway, thank you for stopping by my channel today.